don't know which buttons I'm pressing. Do you know, only a week has gone past since I was here last, and no, it's not. It's been 2 weeks, and I forget which buttons to press. How are you? Welcome to Thursday. My name's Sarah Jane, for anybody who's just found us on Facebook, and I'm 1/3 of our geckos. Hiya Marilyn, how are you? So, what are we making today? Today we are going to try and make a witch's hat. We're coming up to Halloween. We've all got, or a lot of us have got grandchildren who are going to want to go trick-or-treating, and quite a few of us will end up going with the grandchild. I'm not going to this year because we're having the birthday party on Halloween, so I don't get to go with them this year. So I thought my reels, my social reels, have been coming up with people making quilted witches hats. So I decided I'd have a go and see how it was done. I've learned about pi and radius. I know we learnt these in school, but I've not used them in so long. So I thought I would take you through the process if you wanted to do them. I'm getting better. I've made 2 already. I'm getting better. They are starting to fit my head a little bit better, even though they start off fitting my head. So I need to make it slightly bigger. So we're gonna have a bigger seam allowance, I think. I'm still trying to work out how the best to do it. So so that's what we're gonna do. Hiya Liz, how are you? And Kate, Jean, Marlene, how are you all? Are you okay? Right, so how are we going to do it? Is there anything I need to tell you in the meantime? There's more stuff gone in the clearance, and new stuff gone on the website. There's a lot of new stuff gone on the website. So let's start this process, shall we? Because it's not quick. Right, so first thing you've got to do is find the size of your head. Let me go back to this one. I did bring my there it is. I can feel it. No, I can't. I did. Oh, there it is. My tape measure. I brought my tape measure. So first thing is you measure your head, yours or the child's. Measure your head. You don't want it tight, but I work out roughly, depending on where I put my tape measure, at 22.5. Okay, so I worked it out that 22.5 would be. I wrote it all down. I did a lot of working out, so it's 22.5. But I want to know what size circle I need to do. Okay, so my circumference was 22.5. My diameter is then 22.5 divided by 3.14, which is pi, which came to 714. Okay, and then the radius, which is from the middle out, is 3.58. So 7.14 is roughly she says this. So that the bit in the middle is 7.5, which, yeah, give or take. It doesn't quite fit because my head's not perfectly round. So hiya Mary, you're in Bilth Wells. And Nikki's in Spain. I hope the weather's better over there. And hiya Grace, how are you doing? So I've drawn my circle on the outside, which is 8 inches, which gives it enough. I'm hoping this time it's going to give it enough to come down over my head. Because I can work out, I know the mechanics, but it's making the mechanics work. Now, I didn't have that much in the way of patchwork stuff. So I'm just using material that we had in. So I've drawn my circle, okay, and from there you need to decide what size brim you want. Now these brims, I just came out as far as my bit would work. So I did put a ruler in here as well. It's finding everything, isn't it? Right, so my ruler, to get to the edge of here, is 2 1/4 roughly, okay, 2 3/8. So we're going to go 2 3/8 all the way round. So just make a mark, 2 3/8, make a mark. Is it 2 3/8? If we go from the edge of the thing, it's 2, isn't it? So the edge is 2. So let's put a mark in there. 2, a mark in there. So yeah, so we've been, and then what you're going to do is join them up afterwards. We've been doing a lot of prep ready for Sarah going on Sewing Street in a week's time. So it's not this Sunday, it's next Sunday. She's back on the old goggle box. So I've been cutting mountains of fat quarters for the kits that we're taking on. So we've got seminal pouches going on, beautiful seminal pouches, one in a rainbow colour and one in klimped. So very posh ones. We got some pyramid pouches, and what else we got going on? See, I was hoping to get all this bit all started before I came on air, but this piece of palm, I'm using palmet for this bit, the palmet stuff, because it's a bit rigid, but you could just draw it out on your interfacing if it didn't matter. I wanted more of a structured brim. Interfacing and then you iron it on would probably be an easier make. So now we just join the dots. Okay, just join the dots all the way around. I just want to take it out there. It won't matter if it's not a perfect circle. I didn't have a circle that was big enough, and this is not a very big brim. If I'd have thought it through proper like, I would have picked up a bigger piece of palmet stuff. Right, now I want a rotary cutter. There we go. So we're going to just cut this out, and this is our template then for when we're cutting our fabric out. We can use this as the template. Okay, so there's that, and that's the bit that's going to go through my head. So just chopping it out. Now you can use scissors, it's whatever is more comfortable for you. Hopefully I've got a lump in my head there. So just all the way round. I don't know about you, but I use my rotary cutter for quite a bit now. So I now have 2 of these circles. Oh, that one's smaller, so maybe that's why it wouldn't fit my head. I've done it 1/2 inch bigger. So hopefully this will now fit my head, especially as, oh yeah, it's going to be miles too big. Look at this. It'll, hopefully it's going to work. This one might end up down here. We'll see. Okay, so what's our next bit? Next bit is you want to make you want to draw out your cone as well. So we're going to do all the drawing first, and then We'll do all the drawing first and then we'll go on to doing the next bit. Now, your cone. I'm trying to remember what I did. How did I work it out? That's right. I wanted to work it out. I did it from the corner. I think I did it from the corner. You wouldn't believe I'd made 2 of these, would you? Right, from the corner, and you decide how big a point, how big a pointy bit cone that you want on your hat. Okay, so they're 13. I haven't got a 13 ruler with me. I'm going to do it 12. Okay, or length of my ruler. So I'm going to go from the corner. From the corner of my interfacing. I've just got a heavy interfacing here. So I'm going to go up here. It's not quite 13, but it's bigger than 12. And I'm just going to mark all the way around. Okay, like this. I think I went on 12 there. So we're just working our way around from the corner to there. Like that. So do you all go trick-or-treating with your kids? Or do you turn the lights off and hope that everybody just goes away and leaves you alone on that day? Right, so I now have a cone. So I'm going to cut that out because it won't matter. I'm going to need to make this bigger, but it helped with my maths. It helped me because there is a formula for working out how big a cone you need to fit your hat. So as you go round, you can see that my cone is not going to be big enough. It's going to have to be a lot bigger. It was much better on the other one. When I did it on the smaller one, it almost fit. So we've got, where are we going to come to? I'm just taking it around the inside of the brim, like that. And we need an extra, it's going to need to be an extra 7 inches roughly, so it's 3.5. Okay, so to work out this, I'm going to put, I've got, look at this, this is the new mini starry. It's so beautiful, it's so bright and beautiful, it's lovely. So I'm going to put this right sides together with the fabric that I've chosen to go inside. Hi Carol. By the time you've sewn all, it'll fit. I hope so. If you use a pencil tied to a bit of string, that would work as well. Yes, definitely. Right, so that's my outside and outside. And if you put these two, I've got 1/2 meter of fabric here of each of them. And if you put them together, right sides together, and then draw, you haven't got to pull them apart if you're going to do depending on how you're going to do it, okay, but you're going to cut them together. So what you want to do is this is going to go on that way round like that, and what I need is this large ruler here. I need to add 3.5 to it to make it fit. So 3.5, 1, 2, 3.5, like that. And then I'm going to come down. I think I need to go up a bit there. So I'm just measuring 3.5, like that, off the edge. Yeah, I don't want it any taller, but I want to be able to cut it down. So I need to make sure I can do 3.5 on that side as well. There we go. So I'm just going to cut that up there. If you end up with some odd shaped scraps in your scrap bags, you'll know why. So I've taken 3.5 up there, and I want 3.5 off there. Have I cut through that? Do you know, I'm a bugger for cutting through fabric that I've already cut because I haven't moved it. Okay, so we are making it bigger, aren't we? 3.5. Like that. I'm just going to chop it off there. Like that. Okay. So if we move this then up here. No, yeah. No, you've got to leave it there, sir. Got to leave it there. And we're just going to chop this off like this, around there, like that. So I now have a cone. It's going to be a very large cone. We're just going to put that in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to iron that on in the middle of my cone. Do you know, this is so much easier at home. When I'm not having to explain it and rejig it as I need to. Okay, so we're ironing this on the wrong side of my my lining fabric. This is just to give it a little bit of a stability, but I'm not sure that it really needs to be as stiff as all that anyway. Okay, so we've done that one. Just trying to make sure that the glue, you've got to give it a couple of seconds for the glue to melt so that it adheres to your fabric. So that looks okay. There we are. So we've done our cone. We're now going to cut out our no one comes to your house trick or treating. See, I would probably still buy the sweets. That's the problem. Right. So with the rest of the fabric that's left over, we're just going to find there it is. It would have been better if I'd have ironed the fabric before we started. So we're just going to cut out my circles. Okay, now really I want to be able to cut it out an inch or half an inch bigger, edge of foot bigger, really, all the way round. Now normally I would mark this out so that it was exact, but we're just working our way around like that. Okay, so we now have our circle, and we need to cut out the middle as well, don't we? So let's cut out the middle. Now the seam allowance is going to make your hole bigger, I think. Anyway, any idea what I can do with all these circles that I have? Circles of fabric everywhere. Okay, so we now have our brim and our cones. Now if you did this in felt, good felt, you wouldn't need to do all the sewing, the lining and stuff. You could just make it out of a make it as you went, really. Okay, so we're going to sew our cones. Just put them together like that, and then like this, so that you end up with your pointy hat. You can tell I cut them out together because I've got this lump here on both of them. Okay, so we're going to sew these together. When you come to the top, if you sew it slightly off, you're still going to get that point, but it's going to make less bulk. You'll be able to cut the point off. There'll be less bulk going up into that point. Okay, so hi Anne, how dare you be late? How dare you be late? So we are now going over to the sewing machine and we are just going to sew these 2 cones together. Yeah, sew them down. So I'm just using edge of foot, which is not enough. I think this is the 1/4 inch foot on, isn't it? Yeah. Oh well. So I'm going up the edge. It would probably work if you made your lining, this lining one, a little bit smaller than your main one. Because it'll fit in a lot better. Okay. So sew it up here. I'm making this, the edge of foot go on the edge of this fabric, whereas I gave it a little bit extra room on the other one. There we go. So the cutter's not working on the bobbin one. Okay, so we now have our 2 cones, which we are going to trim off at the point and turn them through. I didn't backstitch on that one, did I? So just going to go over that bit again. I don't know what's going on with this thread. Okay. Nope, it's all caught up. Always, always. What's going on? So I'm having trouble over here. It's all gone Pete Tong under here. Can't get it out. How do you get it out? Like that. Push and pull. It's all. There you go. I'm trying to do as little as possible with this. There we go. So there we go. Got the bobbin through, so I'm not going to trap it in the door. Close the door. Put that back on. There we go. Right, let's try that again, shall we? I've got a whole nest going on here now. So, no, not there. Another bit. There we go. So I've double stitched that. Makes you wonder why you bother, but double stitch that to make sure that when I stick my fang up there, it's not going to push come through the top, hopefully. Okay, so we're going up into the point like that. I think that'll be enough. And then that one will fit in there, won't it? Yes. Right, so now we've got to work out putting these on. Alright, so what I did was I entered that so that I have 4 points. 4 points in which I can then put my circle in. Now, the first time I did this, I sewed the cones up both sides together and then made the cone so that I had a so the two cones together, and then did it so that the inside the seam was finished, so I didn't then have to stuff them together, you know, stuff them inside each other, but then you end up with a raw edge here which I then bound. It works if that's what you want to do, but this one I'm going to try and do like that one I did last night, where I'm slotting one inside the other. I don't know which is the best way to do it. You have to keep telling yourself it's dress up. It's not something that you're going to be wearing every day, probably. However, if I could get one to fit me, I might be more inclined to wear it every day. At the moment, I'd have to pin it to my head. So I'm just ironing these. I don't know how much you can see. I don't know where the camera goes. Ironing these so that I've got my 4 points in which I can put my put these in. I don't need that way around, do I? So you can see it's not quite level. Let's put this like that. So I now have 4 points in which to put it in. I'm just going to trim that little bit off there, like that. And we've got a bit here, yeah. So just make them a little bit more together. So now we take our cone and we match it up. We match it up with our inside circle, not outside circle. So we're going to put one there. Ooh. Find the next marked point, put it in there. Next marked point. I mean, it's pretty much putting a bag together. That's all you're doing, is putting a different shaped bag together. Our Anne has been on went on a retreat with some friends, and you should see the bags that she's made. They're beautiful. She brought one in yesterday to work, and she this is going to sound strange, it looks like a proper bag. It looks like a bag you'd buy. Do you know what I mean? One that you would pay a lot of money for. It was so well made. So I'm just sticking these all the way around here to try and hold it all together. It's fitting pretty well. It was a pretty good guess. Hopefully I'm not going to get any fluting. It's not bad. There might be a few tucks in it, but that's okay. Right, I've run out of clips, so we'll have to pin this one. We'll do this one as well so that we can just sew, okay? So I've got to take my titva, and I'm using the inner circle. So we're going to pin that. It's a lot harder when it's black. I managed to use my the paisley fabric was from the Catitude range. I found 2 cat panels that I had when the Catitude came out, and I thought, oh, I'll do something with that. Yeah, I still haven't. So if anybody's been looking for it, let me know. Okay, so into there. This is where you hope that you're doing it all right. You got the right circle. There we go. Sonia, you and I must be on the right wavelength. How's your Dignity scarf going? I wore mine the other day. We had spaghetti, and I was very grateful for it. We made before I went to Amsterdam, we made Dignity scarves that cover your chest while you're eating, so you don't have to wear a bib, or, as I was wearing, a tea towel. Right, this one doesn't seem to be fitting quite as well, so I hope I've picked up the right end. Okay, so that's in there like that. Nearly done. Now I'm pinning this, but it does tend to move. It can move. So that's right. Yes, when we sew them together, if I leave the gap on there. Right, okay. It's alright, I was trying to work out where I was going to leave the gap for turning, but I think I've worked it out. So we're just going to readjust as we're going around. We're not leaving a gap in this one. Okay, so just sew this one together, and then we'll do the pink one, and I'm going to leave the gap in this bit. Yeah, this, I think I've stretched the bias of it all. Have you all watched Sewing Bee yet? I watched it the other day. I have to say I agreed with the judge's decision, without saying who, just in case nobody's watched it. I'm glad I find things that people want to, to make. Yesterday when I was making this, I'd already put the brim together, so the sewing was a little bit more intricate yesterday, because I had to try and sew this bit with the brim, it was already put together. Because I just changed my mind how I was making it, as I'm wont to do. But this way you don't have to put a binding on it, so I think it works better. It depends on how much you want it to last, I suppose. A lot of these things are, if you're going to make it this year and then chuck it out, then it won't matter if you have raw edges. Can't get that flat. There we go. Is that flat? No, it's not flat. I think I should have put the brim bit on the top. Never mind, we're nearly there. Just keep your fingers crossed, girls. In fact, you should have your fingers crossed for me on all of my 1 o'clocks. Okay, so shall we do it the other way, this one? So where am I going to leave the gap open? The gap, where's the, let's put there. Okay. Oh, somebody's ringing me. Okay, where was the, there. So I'm going to start just before the seam. Oh, I just moved the camera. I don't know where I've moved the camera to. Okay, so I'm going to start with there. I'm going to have to keep an eye on it so that I don't overstretch, because we want to be able to turn the whole thing through and get my brim stiffener inside as well. Now you can make these any size, so you could make them to fit teddy bears and dolls and things just by working it out from the circumference of the head that it's going to go on. Should have turned this out the other way maybe. I don't know. I'm getting in a floodle. So we're just going around this one. How many have I got? Right, I want to stop at the yellow one. So when you make these, take a little more care. Okay, that's the yellow one, so we're going to stop at the yellow one. I'm just realigning everything as I go. Okay, go backwards. There we are. So I've made sure that I've got a lock stitch at the end of these because I want to make sure, I don't know what I've got here. Ow. You want to make sure that you're not because you're going to manipulate quite a bit through the opening that we've left. I don't know what those are. Right, so we now have 2 hat combs. Let's take all these out, and hopefully they are beautifully formed. So we have 2 hat cones, so we want to put, since we've turned that one out, we want to put that inside of there, don't we? Yes, we do. So we want to match up our seams. So you've got the 2 seams like that. We want to match that up, and then we want to put the brims together like this. So we're just going to go all the way around, pin the brims together, and we're going to sew the outside of our brims because I've left the gap on the inside of the hat. How are we doing? Oh, it's another long one. Like this. Okay. I'll try and come up with a short one next week. Make my time back. Okay. I'm going in here like this. This is going to come out right, isn't it? Yes. We've got one inside the other. It's a bag. There, you've made a lot of bags. It's a bag. Okay, so our brims are pretty good. So there, we're going to start and go all the way around, just putting the two brims outside of the brims together. Okay. You agreed as well, did you, Anne? You've watched the film and wouldn't have... Oh, no, I wouldn't have wanted to choose. I think I would have been happy with any of the three that were there. But I agreed that she'd done the best job out of the three of them that day. And they were all such nice people as well. This chair, oh, this chair keeps moving me around. Okay. Ow! There's more DNA on my project. So we've got Tuffets this weekend. So we're going to it's a 2-day course, so we should be tuffetied up by the end of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing some people. Okay. So I'm winging it round this, okay? But we are pretty much finished. There we go. Okay. So here we are. We take all the pins out. And hope that we've caught the brim all the way round. It's very close in some places, but I think we're okay. Right, all the pins are out. So we're going to take our... I haven't done a very good job of ironing this this down, so we're going to take it off because otherwise it's just going to cause bulk inside. There's the thingy. So I'm just going to poke this while I've got it close. So pull it all out. So we now going to go around our brim and try and roll the seam. You roll the seam to make it stick out. In fact, if we put this in, doesn't this give us a head start? And put that side in. That's better. So you go around your brim and push your seam out. brilliant things, these things. So we're just pushing them out around here. Okay, so I don't know what we're going to watch next. I think Glow Up has got a new season out, which is the makeup one, which I love watching what they do, but they're such prima donnas, and I think they encourage that as well. What else is I'm at the moment I'm rereading a book. I'm just talking to you because I'm you know, do you reread books? I try. I've got a couple of books that I do read over and over and over again, but I do like a new book. However, my memory is so bad that sometimes these books are almost new because I can't remember the story. However, in this book that I'm reading, I'm back reading Throne of Glass again. Sarah J. Maas, and the trouble is I know who dies and when they die, and I'm still cross with them. So I'm just ironing the crease around here, just so that I've got something to put my brim against, and then we're going to shove the brim in and see whether it fits. So just nice sharp brim. There we go, like that. And then through this hole here, through this hole, we're going to shove this. So I'm going to, I'm going to pull this bit out again. It's me thinking, how am I going to get the hole through? It's because you've got to put it in and then shove it in. Okay, so that's a circle there. Try not to. It's quite robust, the Palmet fabric. I've enjoyed using it. I've used it in a couple of things now. It gives you that. I mean, you can see how soft it is, and it will iron out if there's any wrinkles in it. But I've used it in a couple of the box things that you make and that, because it just gives an extra I know it's going to fit because I used it as a template and we cut it slightly bigger, so I know it fits, but it's really it's really fighting me in there. It's like kittens in a box. You reread a book sometimes by mistake. Yeah, I often will think, have I ever read this one? Right, push the lining back up through the hole between the through the hole in the Palmet thingy. Now this is definitely without the interfacing in it, is definitely floppier. It's not sloppy, it's floppy. Okay, so this will all fit in there, and I'm not going to do it now because we're almost an hour in. I would then make sure that it was all down, and I would put a top stitch around it like I've done on here. I put a top stitch all the way around, and you know that that Palmet fabric is not going to move. Then inside you have your hole, but it's on the inside, so you're not really going to see it. So if you iron it so that it flips and it sits nicely on there, you can then top stitch it in place. You would top stitch this one just below this line. I would probably do it in black so it wasn't showing. So let's see if it fits. Let's see where it's going to fit. I mean, this might end up coming down over my ears and my eyes. Huh, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It is very floppy though. This definitely needs... I could put a ring of palmet before I sew it up. I could put a ring of palmet stuff in so that it sits on my crown, so that this then will just fold a little bit like that. So yeah, but it's not going to go too far down because it's a cone. But yeah, it's definitely, I'll be able to get a top knot, my hair in that, so that's quite good. But yes, top stitch this so it sits flat, and yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad, be alright. But yes, I'm going to have to shove something up in there to make it a bit more, a bit stiffer. So there we go, witches' hats. So books. Oh, you love making the tuffet. I'm really pleased. Next week I can make a broom to go with it. Yeah, but then I might be asked to use it, so it's probably best not to make a broom. So yeah, you love rereading books. You're the same. I can't remember the story half the time, so it's kind of like a new book. Well, this is it. Murder mysteries on the telly. I'm quite good with those as well because I can never remember who did it. So that's cool. I'm glad you like it, Sonia. I'm expecting you to be wearing yours on Saturday when I see you. I will see you all next week. We'll try and go with the shorter one. And have a wonderful weekend, whatever you're doing. Love you. Take care. Bye. Thank you, Marilyn. Hiya, Melba. You're late, but you're forgiven. All of you are forgiven. I will see you soon. Bye.